Good day, welcome to our lesson for today, which is the parts of a leaf. The leaf main function is to manufacture food or what we call the photosynthesis, and also the gas exchange of the carbon dioxide and then the oxygen, and also the transpiration or the release or loss of water through vapor. We have two structure of a leaf, which is the external and internal structure. Leaf is where photosynthesis takes place, since green pigments and other pigments abound in this region. But before we discuss the anatomic parts or the internal structure associated with the leaf, let us all classify first the morphological or external structure of a leaf. Number one is what we call the stem, where the leaf attach, and we have the petiole, the stalk that connects the leaf to the stem of the plant. It is made of complex conducting tissues called vascular tissues. It transports photosynthetic products from the leaves to the rest of the plant. And we have what we call the axil, the angle between the upper side of the leaf and stem, where buds and leaf develops. We have what we call the leaf base. The lowermost part of a leaf connects to the blade to the petiole. It protects the young auxiliary bud. Next, we have what we call the lamina or leaf blade. It is a broad portion of a leaf, a thin, flat part of a leaf that is basically green in color because of the chlorophyll. It is also helps to perform evaporation or known as transpiration. It helps to prepare food through photosynthesis. And we have what we call the midrib or the central vein arising from a secondary veins. We have what we call the leaf margin, which is the edge of the leaf apex or the tip of the leaf blade. Last is the leaf veins or what we call the veins and venules, the small channels which divided into venules and helps transport nutrients. And after the different parts of a leaf, we can also classify the plants according to their phyllotaxy, which is the leaf arrangement on the stem. Number one, we have what we call the alternate, one leaf on stem or plant node. And we have what we call the opposite, or the two leaves arise from the stem at the same node. And we have what we call the whorled, which is three or more leaves on every node of the stem. Leaves may also be classified into two types, the simple and compound. Simple, when one piece of lamina or leaf blade is located in each node. And we have what we call the compound, when the lamina is divided into small pieces called leaflets. For example, the sampalok leaf or leaves and the malunggay leaves. The compound leaf can be classified into pinnately and palmately. Pinnately, where the leaflets are arranged along the entire length of an extended axis called rachis. This is what we call the rachis, and this is what we call the leaflets. And when we are talking about palmately compound, if the leaflets are attached on a contracted rachis at the tip of a petiole. So this is what we call the rachis, and this is the leaflets of a malave tree. You can also notice on the external part of a leaf the waxy material that what we call the cuticle that covers the leaves of all plant species. It reduces the rate of water loss from the leaf. Just like on the first picture, this is a leaf of a agave plant. And we have what we call the trichomes of the leaf or the tiny hairs on the leaf surface. It protects the plant from predators like insects. Just like the second picture, this is a leaf or leaves of a casopangil. Now let's proceed to the internal structure or the plant anatomy of a leaf. Leaf has three major parts: the lower and upper epidermis, the vascular tissues, which is the phloem and xylem, and the middle layers, which is what we call the mesophyll. The epidermis is the protective layer of cells covering the entire surface of the leaf. It includes the waxy material that called the cutin. And we have what we call the lower epidermis, provided with pores called stomata. So as we can see, we have the stoma, which is the singular form. It is for the exchange of gases and the loss of water in the form of vapor through a process called transpiration. And we have what we call the guard cells that helps to regulate the rate of transpiration by opening and closing the stomata. And basically, stomata is located in the underside part of the lip or the lips sa ilalim na parts po just to lessen the transpiration. Unlike the aquatic plants, the stomata mostly located on the upper side of a leaf. And kung makikita nyo po yung stomata on the first diagram ay nakabukas, while on the second diagram po ay sarado. The reason is, normally po yung stomata close at night or tuwing gabi and nakabukas naman po during the day. It's because of the photosynthesis. Tandaan lang po natin that plant cannot perform photosynthesis at night because there is no presence of sunlight. So the stomata is closed po, just to prevent the loss of water and gases. Kita din po natin sa diagram yung tinatawag po natin na chloroplast. The chloroplast is one type of plastid that contain the green pigment chlorophyll. Sa mga halaman pa, mapapansin natin na merong iba't ibang klase ng dahon, prutas, or gulay na iba-iba din yung kulay. The reason is because of the plastid. Unang type ng tinatawag natin na plastids ay yung tinatawag na chloroplast. Yung tinatawag natin na green-colored plastid. Chlorophyll kapag green pigment. At kapag naman colored plastid, tinatawag natin to na chromoplast. Ito yung nag-store ng tinatawag natin na carotenoid pigments, yung mga red, orange, and yellow ang kulay. Yung ibang pigment tinatawag din natin na anthocyanins that mostly found in vacuoles. Ito din yung dahilan kung bakit merong iba't ibang kulay yung mga bulaklak at prutas tulad nung nasa picture. At leucoplast, ang tawag naman natin sa mga colorless plastid. At kung ito ay nagko-contain or nag-store ng food, which is rich in starch, ang tawag naman natin doon ay amyloplast. At ito naman ang sagot sa tanong kung bakit iba ang kulay ng mga dahon sa ibang bansa. Merong red, orange, and yellow, lalo na kapag malapit yung winter. Ang dahilan, nasisira kasi or mabilis na nade-destruct yung tinatawag natin na chlorophyll or the green pigment. Dahilan para lumabas yung tinatawag na carotenoid pigment. At kung bakit lumalabas agad yung carotenoid pigments ay para doon sa preparation ng halaman sa paparating na winter. Dahil kapag winter, so wala masyadong enough na sunlight para magkaroon ng photosynthesis yung isang halaman. Dahil ang site ng photosynthesis ay yung tinatawag natin na chloroplast. At dito nangyayari yung paglabas ng iba't ibang klase ng kulay. At later on, malalaglag yung mga dahon at ang matitira na lamang ay yung stem at yung underground roots. Pangalawa naman, yung tinatawag natin na vascular tissue. Meron siyang tinatawag na xylem at yung phloem. Yung xylem tissue mostly for transporting water from roots to stem and leaves, but also to transport other dissolved compounds. Pagdating naman sa phloem, responsible ito para sa transportation ng food na nagbumula sa photosynthesis papunta sa leaves at doon sa ibang parts tulad ng roots at stem. And lastly, we have what we call the mesophyll or the middle layers of the cell where the photosynthesis occurs largely. Leaves has three major tissues. Number one is what we call the epidermis, spongy mesophyll, and the palisade mesophyll. When we are talking about epidermis, it covers the upper and lower surface of the leaf and serves as a protective barrier to reduce desiccation and prevents the entry of harmful bacteria and fungi. So this is what we call the epidermis. And the palisade mesophyll contains numerous chloroplasts or the green pigment and is primary photosynthetic region of the mesophyll. So this one is the palisade mesophyll. And the spongy mesophyll that contains large spaces which facilitate the movement of gases and store water. The reason why it is large in space. And to end our discussion, the leaves has many uses to man, just like the pictures in the screen. The first one is what we call the alagaw or the Premna odorata. It has many medicinal uses, and the fruits of the alagaw can be eaten by birds. And the second picture is what we call the niyog-niyugan or the Ficus sodopalma. The young leaves of niyog-niyugan ay pwede pong kainin at iulam. And then the third picture is what we call dinara or the Pterocarpus indicus. This is the Philippine national tree. So isa po sa pinakakilalang puno sa buong Pilipinas because of its yellow flower and then sa matibay na kahoy. This is the end of our discussion for today. So stay tuned in this YouTube channel for more science updates. Always remember, science is life and science for all. Thank you for watching.